such structures are not present. Whereas in case of steroid, there is a specialized structure which is called as a steroid nucleus. It is also called as CPPP. अभी तुम लोग बोलेगे ये CPPP क्या होता है या फिर स्टेरॉइड न्यूक्लियस क्या होता है, ये क्या बोल रहे हैं? So this is a typical structure of a CPPP. This is an abbreviation. उसका full form है cyclopentano per hydrophenanthrin. अभी तुम लोग के बुक में ये डायग्राम नहीं दिया है ना, तो ये नाम लिखा है cyclopentano per hydrophenanthrin. But what they have mentioned the steroid nucleus. So this typical cyclic structure, which includes 3 hexameric rings and 1 pentameric ring, is known as a steroid nucleus. Okay. Now depending on कौन सा type of steroid it is, वो cholesterol है या कोई और है. Now for example, let's say cholesterol, which is the most common type of steroid which is present in our body, has a this typical structure. So you can see यहाँ पे this is the steroid nucleus is maintained. However, there are few extra groups which is being added. So यहाँ पे we can see एक double bond है in a second hexameric ring. In a there are some addition of some other hydrocarbons like hydrocarbon chains which are attached to the cyclic rings. So this is a typical structure of cholesterol. In a similar way, you will find a structure of other steroids like hormones, like you can see progesterone, testosterone, estrogens, which are mainly sex hormones. So in all these kind of steroids, even though the structure will differ with respect to the chains attached to them, with respect to the functional groups, but उनका जो main core रहेगा, that the core nucleus will be same, and this core nucleus is also called as a steroid nucleus, and scientific or a biochemical name is given, that is a cyclopentano perhydrophenanthrin. That is why it is abbreviated as CPPP. So even though it might not be there for your board exam, it is very much important for your entrance exams, both with respect to chemistry and a biology point of view. Okay. So I hope you understood what is a steroid nucleus. And it may, as I mentioned, it may have a hydrocarbon chains attached to it. Now, the most common example, which I already have shown you, that is a cholesterol. And it is one of the most commonly found steroid in a typical animal bodies. There are there are many steroids which are also present in a nervous tissue. So one more thing we had discussed in a last lecture, that is this cholesterol. So there are two types of cholesterol basically. Either it can be a free cholesterol or it can be a esterified cholesterol. So I can say free cholesterol matlab the molecules are not bound to anything. However, in case of esterified cholesterol, by using the ester linkage, the cholesterol molecules are attached to some other molecules. Okay. Now, what is the difference? So, on why do we need to consider them as a separate? मतलब वो क्यों free है? Why it is attached or we can say esterified? क्यों होता है? So, the free molecules are mainly found to be toxic in nature. However, the cholesterol which is esterified in nature is generally not toxic. However, it is also important and having a protection kind of functions. So that is a major difference between a free and the esterified cholesterol. Okay. So ये तो एक example हो गया which is most abundant in our body, but there are many other steroids which are actually derived from the cholesterol. So we can say cholesterol is a kind of precursor, and from that different other chemicals, or to be more precise, biochemicals have been discovered or have been synthesized. Okay, so it includes adrenocorticoids. Now तुम लोगों ने कभी adrenal gland ये term सुना है? Have you ever heard that word adrenal gland? या कहाँ पे होता है?
Kidney.
या not kidney के अंदर, but kidney के ऊपर जो cap-like structure रहता है, yeah, that is a typical, that is known as a adrenal gland. So this adrenal gland is a kind of an endocrine gland. Do you know what is the difference between endocrine gland and the exocrine gland?
Yes.
Secretion directly pour into pouch.
और दूसरे में पाउच नहीं
होता है.
Okay, so किस में पाउच होता है और किस में पाउच नहीं होता है शरण?
एंडोक्राइन में पाउच होता है, एक्सोक्राइन में पाउच नहीं होता.
Okay, Nikita, do you want to give any counter? तुमने भी कुछ आंसर किया था, right? कुछ
Yes.
So you think Sharon is right or not?
एक्सोक्राइन में पाउच होता है और एंडोक्राइन में नहीं होता है ना?
Yeah, exactly. So Sharon, तुमने थोड़ा उल्टा बोला. So
Yes.
yeah, so but you're on the right track basically. So there are two important.
Endocrine gland is a ductless gland.
Yes. I'm coming to that point. So there are two important types of glands in our system. They are mainly classified as the endocrine gland and the exocrine gland. As both of them have rightly said that endocrine glands are ductless glands. There is no any specialized pouch or duct which is present in these glands जो इनके secretions को कैरी करेगा या फिर उनको कहीं और जगह पे ले जाने में मदद करेगा. However, the secretions of this particular endocrine glands are directly released into a blood circulation. Okay, and that's why that's how they work, and that's why the secretions which is actually the secretions which are produced by these particular glands are called as hormones, and they are called as ductless glands. Okay. However, in case of exocrine gland, there are specialized kind of structures like a pouch रहेगा, ducts रहेगा, tubules रहेगा, which will be actually carrying the all the fluids which are basically synthesized by the particular gland. And that is the basic difference. एक में ducts and pouches kind of structure होते हैं, एक में नहीं होते. And जैसे ये मैंने बोला, the secretions of endocrine glands is called as hormones. So these adrenocorticoids are nothing but a type of hormones which are actually produced by a adrenal gland. Okay, please keep this in your mind. It can be asked for MCQ. Adrenocorticoids are hormones which are secreted by what? Adrenocorticoids कौन secrete करेगा? Which gland?
Adrenal gland.
Adrenal gland.
Adrenal.
Yeah. Good. So apart from that, there are other sex hormones which are also steroids in a nature. It includes progesterone, testosterone. Now, progesterone किसमें होता है? Men या women?
Female.
Yeah,
Female.
And testosterone is a man. So the
Female.
progesterone is actually produced by a typical gonads of, we can say, gonads मतलब primary reproductive organs of a particular animal. So if you are talking about the females, it is mainly ovaries which are involved in a synthesis of such hormone. In case of male, it includes testes, which are the gonads which synthesize the testosterone. Whatever their sources are and whatever like their functions are, what is currently important for us that all of them, all the sex hormones are basically steroid in a nature. Okay. And apart from that, there are also other molecules like vitamin D, which is also a kind of steroid, and it is synthesized from a cholesterol. Okay. Apart from this, there are many other derivatives as well, which are derived from cholesterol or also
Sir,
from
your voice is not coming.
yeah, just give me a minute. Just give me. Yeah, sorry for that. Actually, train pass हो रहा था, इसका बहुत ज़्यादा आवाज़ आ रहा था. Okay, I hope now I am audible. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So, what I was saying कि ये जो हमने few examples देखे, adrenocorticoids हो, progesterone हो, testosterone हो, all of them are few examples. Apart from that, there are many other examples of derived compounds which come across which come under the term derived lipids, and they are also steroid in nature. Okay, one more thing I would like to ask you, do you know what is progesterone and what is testosterone? का function क्या होता है? You will learn about this in detail, but I just want to know तुम लोगों को पता है या नहीं? So there is a very common kind of MCQ. Okay, so they ask you, dash is known as a pregnancy hormone. Okay, and the answer is progesterone. Progesterone is known as a pregnancy hormone because it helps in maintenance of a pregnancy. However, Apart from that, testosterone, which is present in a male, is responsible for a puberty and a secondary sexual characters in a male. Okay, please note it down. It will be helpful for you. Apart from that, as I mentioned, there are many other plants which also show presence of steroids. They do not have any kind of cholesterol as such, but they do contain a specialized steroids. Okay, few examples of such include phytosterols. So जो sterols हम लोग plants में देखते हैं, उनको हम लोग mainly phytosterols बोलते हैं. Phyto मतलब plant, sterols मतलब steroids. Okay, and one of such example is the Dioscorea, which is commonly known as a yam plant. It produces a phytosteroid known as a diosgenin. Okay, it is a name of a phytochemical produced by this typical plant known as Dioscorea, and it is a steroid in a nature. There are many different applications of this typical compound. It is also having anti-inflammatory, anti-proliferative, anti. There are, but yeah, hypoglycemic, antioxidant, and there are many other properties. But one of the very prominent properties, or we can say, use of this particular diogenin is it is mainly utilized as a in a anti-fertility pills, which are commonly known as a oral contraceptive pill or a birth control pills. Okay, now I know but most of you must not be aware about all these things, but then now we are studying biology, so you will get to know all these things slow by slow. Okay, so there are multiple different pills which are currently utilized, or we can say which are available in the market and used as a birth control pills. Now, how this particular diogenin works? कैसे वो control करेगा? Because like there has to be some kind of mechanism or some kind of principle, right? ऐसे ही मैंने बोल दिया कि हाँ diogenin is preventing the uh, or it's kind of anti-fertility or it's kind of oral contraceptive और तुम लोग ने मान लिया. It's not like that. Okay, there is some kind of mechanism behind it. So how it works, the diogenin, which is a steroid compound, it is actually a kind of analog which is involved in a synthesis of different sex hormones. Okay, so क्या होता है जब भी ये compound add किया जाता है in such kind of pills, it produces progesterone, estrogen kind of hormones in a body, or we can say it enhances its secretion. Abhi, our body has a very good coordination of our we can say nervous system and the endocrine system. Nervous system matlab the coordination between the neurons, and the endocrine system matlab different hormones which are present in our body. ऐसा नहीं होता है कि कोई भी हार्मोन कभी भी प्रेजेंट होता है. It's not like that. At a particular time only a particular hormone is working and it will show its function. Apart from that, even though hormone is present, it might not show any kind of activity. Also, it can be present in a less amount, large amount. Its synthesis is very precisely controlled. I am not going in detail about the control and coordination part of this neuroendocrine system, but what I want you all to understand is our body is very well maintained by this kind of systems. Okay, तो होता क्या है यहाँ पे? Whenever a particular woman is taking such kind of pills, there is a changes in her hormones in her body. Okay, and because of these hormonal changes there is a avoidance of a kind of ovulation, and that's why the ovulation will not take place, or it will take place at some different time which is not favorable, and with because of such things the pregnancy is avoided. Okay, I hope this is clear. You don't need to know this in detail, but just because it's mentioned over here I am telling you the mechanism. Okay, till now if you are having any doubt, so with this actually we are done with the steroid part. That's what it is. Okay, so this is again a typical steroid nucleus and the very commonly known steroid, that is a cholesterol. So अगर किसी को कुछ डाउट है, कुछ पूछना है, you can ask me right now. No, so I will ask you. So कल मैंने एक क्वेश्चन दिया था about lecithin. Any one of you have read about it and like want to tell it to everyone? क्या होता है lecithin? What is lecithin? Is it a simple lipid? It is a complex lipid, or it is a derived lipid? वो बताओ सबसे पहले, and then you can tell me.
Compound lipid.
Yeah, it is a compound lipid. What is where it is present? मतलब क्या होता है? You tell me. Then I will explain.
Occurring in tissues of plant and animal which are amphiphilic in nature,
Okay, and
yellowish brown in color,
okay,
fatty
and
substance,
no,
scientific name
yeah. What is the scientific
1,
name, Share?
1,2
No, no, no,
diazoxide
no, 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 no. I don't want that. I sorry. So,
phosphatidyl choline.
yeah. Just a minute, Sharon. Yeah. So I think you have read about it. I got it. So what basically I want you all to know, whenever I say lecithin, you have read a lot, and I'm happy with that, Sharon. Very good. So all of you should understand. Lecithin is a kind of complex lipid, which is commonly known as or we can say scientifically known as a phosphatidylcholine. Okay, this is very commonly present in a yellow yolk of your eggs. Basically जो हम लोग eggs का जो उसमें रहता है, even in a soybean and all, it is a very good source and it is having a very good uh, properties and something बोलते हैं ना हम लोग हमारे body के लिए suitable and required kind of thing. So it is that kind of compound. As he has clearly mentioned about these properties and all, I hope you all have read about it. But it is a very important type of complex lipid. Apart from lecithin, which is called as a phosphatidylcholine, you will also come across a term known as a phosphatidylethanolamine. Okay, and it is known as a cephalin, which is mainly present in a brain-like structure. That's why the word cephalin. Okay. So this is just for your knowledge, and about lecithin, it was mentioned in your chapter. That's why I had asked you to read about it. So that's it about the lipids. We have successfully completed the lipids part, and now we are moving forward to the next important biomolecule, and that is proteins. Okay. So tell me, what do you know about proteins? Okay, don't create a mess. Raise your hand. Ankita Rani, batch one. Yeah, what do you know about protein? You don't need to leave the meeting, okay? If you are not knowing, that's absolutely fine. डर के वजह से छोड़ो मत, एटलीस्ट तुम लोग तो सही यहाँ पे रहोगे तो. That's fine. Those who are willing to tell can raise their hands. There is no force from my side. So Anuj, tell me, what is protein?
The proteins are the macromolecules.
Yeah, they are macromolecules. Very good. And what else do you know about proteins? कहाँ कहाँ देखा है proteins को? Yes, Sahil, कहाँ पे हो गए proteins?
सर वो अमीनो एसिड्स में ब्रेक होते हैं ना.
अमीनो एसिड से क्या होता है? I'm sorry.
अपना ब्रेक होते हैं ना.
Okay, so I can rephrase it for you. Proteins are made up of amino acids. ऐसे हम लोग बोल सकते हो क्या फॉर्म?
फॉर बॉडी ग्रो.
Yeah, for body growth it is required. Any particular compound जो तुम लोग रोज खाते हो और उसमें प्रोटीन होता है, कहाँ पे तुम लोग को ये मिलता कहाँ से प्रोटीन? क्या खाते हो तुम लोग?
Egg, milk,
Egg, milk, yes.
Fish.
meat, fish,
Fish,
Dal,
milk,
dal,
yes.
dal, dal.
Very, yeah, dal,
Pulses.
yeah, pulses, yeah.
pulses.
So
Milk.
basically, yes, I got it. Most of the food elements जो हम लोग लेते हैं, they have a small or large proportion of proteins, but then pulses, dals and all, these are very protein rich, or we can say proteinaceous kind of materials जो हम लोग लेते हैं for having the enough amount of protein layers in our body. Okay. So ये proteins, that's not all about the proteins. That is जैसे हम लोग खाने की बात हुई. Even your nails, your hairs are made up of proteins. Do you think कैसे होते हैं? Even though they are growing, they are also made up of proteins. The feathers of the birds जो रहते हैं, उनके जो पंख रहते हैं, even those are made up of proteins. जो सिल्क रहता है सिल्कवर्म का, even that is a protein. So all these types of the compounds जो हम लोग देखते हैं नेचर में प्रेजेंट है, all of them are actually proteins in a nature. Okay, बट कब और कैसे इसका पता चला कि ऐसा कोई कंपाउंड है जो बायोमोलिक्यूल है, मैक्रोमोलिक्यूल है, एंड उसको हम लोग प्रोटीन बोलेंगे, क्यों बोलेंगे? Obviously, that is the question. So why it was called as protein? Something like protein, मतलब a primary, something जो सबसे पहले उनको मिला kind of compound. So such molecule was actually observed in 1830 by a scientist whose name was Berzelius. He just put forward कि हाँ okay ऐसा कुछ तो है जिसको हम लोग प्रोटीन बोलते हैं. After that, Mulder, who actually had adapted जो कि बर्जिलियस ने बोला उसको आगे लेके जाके, he has said that it is a complex organic nitrogenous substance which is actually present in all the animals and the plants. Okay, so what he said, he has said that the proteins are actually a nitrogenous substance, मतलब ऐसे compounds जिसमें नाइट्रोजन प्रेजेंट होता है. Till now, in case of carbohydrates or in case of liquids, हम लोग क्या बता रहे थे? These compounds are made up of which particular elements mainly?
Carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen.
Exactly. So they are mainly made up of CHO. However, in case of proteins, they are mainly made up of CHO. In addition to that, there is also a N, that is a nitrogen. Okay, and there are also a few proteins which shows presence of sulfur in addition to the CHON. Okay, so as I mentioned, these are the compounds which are mainly composed of amino acids. Now, what is amino acid? Okay, so amino acid is a typical structure which contains two different functional groups. Okay, so this is a general formula or a general representation of a particular amino acid, जिसके पास एक chiral carbon होता है, जिसका एक bond is given to a carboxyl group, another one is given to amino group. There is a hydrogen at upper side, and then there is a R. R represents the side chain. So there are different groups. It can be methyl, it can be alcohol, it can be some aromatic ring. There are multiple such structures which can be present at a place of R. And this entire structure is called as a amino acid. What you need to keep in mind at this particular place or at this moment, that the central carbon of an amino acid is a chiral carbon. What do you mean by chiral carbon?
4 different molecule attach
Four
होते
different
हैं
molecules
कार्बन को.
attached.
Yes, exactly. That's a right answer. So all the amino acids have a chiral carbon except glycine. Okay, please note it down. All the amino acids have a central chiral carbon except glycine. Now you will ask me why glycine is not having a chiral carbon, because in case of glycine ये जो R होता है that is a hydrogen atom only. That means उसके पास दो हाइड्रोजन हो जाते हैं which actually makes it a chiral, or we can say it is not a chiral carbon. Okay, so this is a typical structure. You can see एक जगह पे amino group है, एक जगह पे carboxyl group है. Now, yesterday someone had asked me about the Zwitterine. So at that time also मैंने थोड़ा explain किया था, but now we can talk about the Zwitterine in detail. It's not given in your textbook, but just because you had asked yesterday, I had tried to put in here because it makes sense when we talk about amino acids. Okay, so what is Zwitterine? It is a particular molecule which contains the functional group. Okay, and among this functional group, at least one should have a positive charge and the one should have a negative charge. Okay, and such compound or such a molecule which have a functional group that gives its positive and the negative charge at the same time are known as Zwitterines. Okay, so this is a typical amino acid structure. So you can see here यहाँ पे जो बेसिक ग्रुप है, it is the amino group that can gain one hydrogen atom and becomes NH3 plus. At when the lower pH, this reaction takes place. However, at a higher pH, generally there is a loss of hydrogen atom from the acidic group, that is a C double bond OH, and it will get a negative charge. And this typical structure is known as a Zwitter ionic structure of a amino acid. Okay, I hope you understand why Zwitter ionic, because you can see over here, यहाँ पे एक पॉजिटिव चार्ज है, यहाँ पे नेगेटिव चार्ज है, which is present within a same molecule. That's why it is called as a Zwitter ion. Now, as I mentioned, there are 20 different amino acids which are present. These are known as standard amino acids. Okay, standard amino acids which are mainly present in a proteins. You will find many other amino acids which are present, but they are not a typical. They are not a part of a typical proteins. Okay. However, now they have actually found two more new amino acids which are actually considered as the 21st and 22nd amino acids, known as a selenocysteine and pyrrolysine respectively. However, these two, that's the selenocysteine and pyrrolysine amino acids, are still under a study, and we are still trying to understand वो क्या है, कैसे है, क्या properties है, no. Abhi, why they are still in a study and why they are special and why we are not including them right now in this 20 amino acids, ये तुम लोग को मैं explain करूँगा whenever we are trying to understand the nucleic acid part. Okay, so if I forget, please remind me कि आपने ऐसा कुछ बोला था that we need to discuss at the nucleic acid part. For now, please have a look on these 20 amino acids. It includes alanine, arginine, aspartic acid, aspargine, cysteine, glutamine, and so on. We're ending with the valid. So few of them are having, on what basis are we classifying them? As I mentioned, all of them are having a specialized different side chain. So ये जो यहाँ पे R group था, ये R group कुछ तो अलग रहेगा, बाकी सब structure same रहता है. Only R group is different in all these 20 amino acids. किसी के पास हाइड्रोजन रहता है, किसी के पास मिथाइल ग्रुप रहता है, किसी के पास इथाइल रहता है, किसी के पास अल्कोहल रहता है, some has a acidic group, some has a amide group. So all these things are present in these 20 amino acids. Now, one thing I want you all to note down is among these 20 amino acids, methionine and cysteine are the two amino acids which contains sulfur. Okay, so these are the sulfur containing amino acids. कौन सा है? Cysteine and methionine. Okay, however, only cysteine is the amino acid which is involved in a disulfide bond formation. So proteins have a specialized character that they can form a disulfide bond, -H-S bond. Okay. So this bond is formed only if a protein is having multiple cysteine residues in its structure. Okay. तो मैंने अभी क्या बोला? There are two amino acids which contain sulfur. कौन से थे वो?
Cysteine and
Cysteine and
methionine.
methionine.
Very good. Cysteine and methionine. However, कौन सा amino acid is involved in disulfide bond formation?
Cysteine.
Cysteine.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good. So why I'm telling you, because they will not ask you these questions in your board exam, but they will surely there are like chances they will ask these questions in your MCQs and like in an entrance exam, both for chemistry and biology. So that's why I want you all to study this chapter kind of thoroughly, because it is important from both chemistry and biology point of view. Okay, so that was one important note about these amino acids. Apart from that, there are three amino acids which are called as aromatic amino acids. So these aromatic amino acids includes tryptophan, tyrosine, and phenylalanine. So there are three aromatic amino acids. मतलब उनके side chain में aromatic ring present होता है. What are those? Phenylalanine, tryptophan, and tyrosine. Is it clear?
Yes.
Good. The next point is there are three amino acids which are known as the basic amino acids. Okay. and those includes lysine, arginine, and histidine. Okay, you will find here. This is lysine, this is arginine, and histidine. These are the basic amino acids. Matlab they are basic in nature, alkaline in nature basically. They give a positively charged. They give positive charge to the protein. So अगर किसी भी प्रोटीन के पास arginine, lysine, and histidine abundantly present होंगे, so that protein will be basic in nature and it will have dash charge. कौन सा charge रहेगा उसके पास अगर वो basic है तो?
Negative.
How negative?
OH प्रेजेंट होता है.
Negative में OH present होता है कैसे? What I was telling you, NH3 is a amino group, so it will gain a hydrogen atom, right? So in this case also the same thing happens. So they will actually gain a hydrogen atom, and that's why the basic proteins are mainly positively charged in nature. However, the acidic proteins, which mainly contains glutamic acid, and there is one more, that is aspartic acid. These two are known as acidic amino acids, and they gives or they imparts the negative charge to the protein. Okay, is it clear? तो मैंने क्या क्या बताया अभी? मैंने बताया कौन से amino acids are having a sulfur in them, which amino acids is included in the disulfide bond formation, which amino acids are aromatic in nature, which amino acids are basic in nature, and which amino acids are acidic in nature. The 5 important points I just have told you based on this
Acidic
chart.
means
Acidic amino acids are aspartic acid and glutamic acid. उनके नाम में ही लिखा है aspartic acid, glutamic acid. These are the 2 acidic amino acids. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. So this is the extra information जो मैं तुम लोगों को दिया है, but it is very important for you all to understand this concept. Okay. So that's all about the amino acids. Now let's see how these amino acids actually forms of proteins. Okay. So now अभी हम लोग को समझा कि उसका basic units are amino acids. There are 20 amino acids. But ये प्रोटीन कैसे बनाते हैं एंड कितने नंबर मतलब कितने अमीनो एसिड्स प्रेजेंट हो सकते हैं in a particular protein. So a proteins can have a range of amino acids. It can have as less as few amino acids like 50-60 amino acids, or as large as 3,000 or even more than that. Okay, so they have a different range of amino acids, but all the proteins are made up of these 20 amino acids जो मैंने अभी यहाँ पे दिखाई थी in a table. Okay, this all the amino acids are have a different properties and different charges as they are just mentioned, and they because of this large size or because of this large number of amino acids, the proteins generally have a high molecular weight, and that's why they are called as a macromolecule and not a micromolecule. So proteins are a macromolecule. So this amino acid actually forms a protein as they start linking with each other. So one amino acid will be linked to the other amino acid by a specialized bond known as a peptide bond. Okay. In case of carbohydrates, कौन सा bond था? In case of carbohydrates, which was the bond जो दो monomers को connect करता था?
Glycosidic bond.
Yes, so it was the glycosidic bond in case of carbohydrates. However, in case of protein, it's a peptide bond which actually links together two different amino acids. Okay, so ये peptide bond actually बनता कैसे है? It is actually formed by joining the carboxyl group of one amino acid residue to the amino group of another residue. Okay, so अगर मुझे reaction दिखाना है, so this is my one amino acid. Okay, this is the second amino acid. Okay, this is the carboxyl group with C double bond OH, and it will have the amino group as the NH2. Okay, basically. So this OH and this H will be eliminated by a condensation reaction, that is the removal of water molecule, and there will be a bond formation between this C and this N. and it will give you a typical bond, that is a dash C double bond O dash NH dash. This specialized bond is known as a peptide bond. Okay, कितना समझा? Is it clear? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. So this is a way actually the peptide bond is synthesized. Now, very simple question. Okay. Now यहाँ पे मैंने दो ही amino acids थे. So let's say I am having a 10 amino acids. How many peptide bonds are required to form a linear protein? Very simple question. I am having a 10 amino acids. I want to form a protein. So कितने peptide bonds लगेंगे to form a linear protein? इतना difficult है?
9.
Yes. So we required 9 peptide bonds. So I understand ये first time जब definitely तुम लोगों ने fingers पे count किया रहेगा इसके दोनों के बीच में एक दोनों के बीच में एक. That's
Yes.
fine. Yeah, so there will be 9, but then there is a simple formula n minus 1. N is a number of amino acid and you just need to do a minus 1. So if I have the 10, then 10 minus 1, 9. अगर अभी तुम लोगों को 10 बोला so you can just count on a finger. But what if I told you there are 100 amino acids? तो तुम लोग क्या count करते बैठोगे? No, you will just do 100 minus 1 and there will be 99 amino acids. Okay, but this formula is valid only for linear proteins. I hope I'm making sense over here. Just because हम लोग अगर linear protein की बात कर रहे हैं तो ही ये formula या फिर ये फंडा काम करता है. If we are talking about a cyclic protein, then there will be a difference. Okay, and I hope you can just imagine now. अगर मुझे cyclic protein बनाना है तो कितने लगेंगे bond मुझे?
N.
10.
Yeah,
N.
so we will require 10 or you can say
N is
N.
equals to N.
Yeah, in that case, there will be n number of bonds will be required. Okay, so these are very basic questions. I understand. मतलब कभी-कभी मतलब ये small questions भी हम लोग को at that moment थोड़ा difficulty देते हैं. So it's better to have clarity from beginning only, so that you will be able to solve such kind of questions. Okay, so I hope you are cleared with this part. Now let's come to the next part of this chapter, that is what are the different structures. कैसे प्रोटीन क्या होता है, कैसे होता है, क्या दिखता है. Okay, if I just ask now Sharon to give me a protein का एक structure, तो वो क्या देगा मुझे? वो पानी देगा, solid देगा, liquid देगा, या फिर वो he will give me some kind of chain structure, कोई ऐसा circular structure, क्या मतलब कुछ तो there should be a specialized structure that should be known, right? So multiple, I think thousands of or even lakhs of proteins are now known. Their structure is well known and it is actually done by many different molecular biology technologies. Okay, even now we can actually understand a specialized protein, उसका size कितना है, वो fold कैसा होता है, उसके अंदर कौन सा kind of bond है. All these structures, all these things can be done or can be studied just by a single method. Yes, it is not an easy task. It is one of the most complicated process to study the structure of the protein. However, I can say it is not an impossible thing now. Few years back, it was kind of impossible thing which was considered, but we should always believe the fact. Nothing is impossible. All the things which are there or which will be there in the future, they are always is a some kind of solution or some kind of way to solve such kind of difficult questions. So there are multiple questions, multiple solutions which are currently available. One of such technology which is generally used for studying the structure of protein is known as X-ray crystallography. Another is the NMR. All these technologies can be used for studying the structure of protein. Okay, but these proteins are not always of the same type, even though all the proteins are made up of 20 different amino acids. मतलब कितना भी बड़ा हो, वो 30 अमीनो एसिड्स का बना हो या 3000 या 30,000 अमीनो एसिड से बना हो, उसमें जो अमीनो एसिड्स रहेंगे, it will be ओनली दिस 20 स्टैंडर्ड अमीनो एसिड्स जो प्रेजेंट होने वाले हैं, नो मैटर वो किसका साइज क्या है, उसका वेट क्या है, वो किससे बनेगा, इट विल बी कंपोज्ड ऑफ ओनली द 20 स्टैंडर्ड अमीनो एसिड्स. Okay. However, few proteins are linear, few are cyclic, few are having a single polypeptide, few are having more than one polypeptide, and that's how they are actually present in the nature. Okay. So, based on what is the typical structure of a protein or how a typical stable protein is made or synthesized, there are different we can say levels of structure. Starting from a primary structure, then it goes under a secondary structure, then a tertiary structure and a quaternary structure. अगर मुझे सिंपल वर्ड्स में बोला है, then the types of protein includes primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure and quaternary structure. Primary structure is a long chain of amino acids. Okay, it's just a linear chain of amino acids known as polypeptide. That's it. अगर मैंने उसको ब्रेक डाउन किया, it will be hydrolyzed into amino acid. There will be no specialized structure as such. जब हम लोग सेकेंडरी स्ट्रक्चर की बात करते हैं तो क्या होता है, ये जो प्राइमरी स्ट्रक्चर होता है, इट इज अ लॉन्ग चेन ऑफ अमीनो एसिड is actually folded it is actually folded about itself and it is actually given a specialized structure, and this specialized structure is actually maintained by your specialized bonds, that is the hydrogen bonds. So whenever I am saying about the secondary structure, the most important interaction which is happening over there is a hydrogen bonding. Okay. Now even the secondary structure is not that stable, it needs to go under a more stable structure, and for that it requires the tertiary structure जहाँ पे secondary structure भी उसके ऊपर मतलब it goes under a proper folding and it forms a properly folded protein which will have a specialized structure, and उसका कुछ part exposed रहेगा, कुछ part exposed नहीं रहेगा. So the exposed part will be involved in the interaction with the different other molecules and all. ओके. बट ये सब क्या हो रहा है विद अ सिंगल पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन, प्राइमरी का जो था उसका सेकेंडरी उसका टर्शियरी. नाउ इन केस ऑफ क्वाटरनरी प्रोटीन्स क्या होता है, मल्टीपल डिफरेंट पॉलीपेप्टाइड्स कम टुगेदर. तो नॉट ओनली अ सिंगल चेन बट 2 to 3 chains or even more than that, 6 chains, 9 chains can come together and they will interact with each other. They will be bonded to each other by a hydrogen bond or a disulfide bond or many other covalent and non-covalent interaction, and they will give a stabilized protein, and that particular protein is called as a quaternary structure. Okay, so this was a kind of overview, and this is a schematic which actually shows. So when you work in a primary structure, it is just an amino acid sequence. You can see यहाँ पे asparagine, glycine, phenylalanine. So this is a 3-letter code. Okay, whenever you find something like gly, ASN, GLN, ALA, this is a specialized nomenclature जहाँ पे हम लोग अमीनो एसिड्स को 3 लेटर्स से 3 लेटर्स से रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं. ओके, यू विल आल्सो फाइंड अ सिंगल लेटर कोड जहाँ पे ग्लाइसिन को सिर्फ G लिखते हैं, फिनाइलिन को सिर्फ F लिखते हैं, लाइसिन को सिर्फ K लिखते हैं, लाइक दैट. बट दैट इज नॉट फॉर योर इंफॉर्मेशन राइट नाउ. I'm just telling you because कभी अगर तुमने कुछ पढ़ा, you might come across such kind of terms. Okay, so this is the primary structure, and now this primary structure will go under folding and it will form either a helix. This is a typical helical structure, or a typical sheet-like structure, which is known as a beta sheet. So it can form. So the secondary structure can have a 2 important forms, that is a alpha helix or a beta sheet. Okay, a primary structure or a primary amino acid sequence can either fold upon itself to form a alpha helix, or it can also form a beta sheet, and this typical structure is called as a secondary structure. Now ये जो secondary structure है, again they will fold upon itself and they will form a 3-dimensional structure. So this is typical 3D structure. And then अगर a protein is a multimeric or let's say उसके पास multiple subunits होंगे, then 4 different subunits, as you can see in the middle image over here, you can see my cursor. Okay, यहाँ पे one red is there, one orange, one blue, one green. So these are 4 different polypeptides which are actually came together and interacted with each other to form a stabilized protein, and this complex is known as a quaternary structure of a protein. One of the very commonly studied example of a quaternary protein is hemoglobin. You will, whenever you will, like if someone is asking you about the quaternary protein, you can always tell about hemoglobin, because it is the most commonly studied and well-known kind of protein all over the world. Okay, so that's all about the typical types of, we can say, typical structures of a protein. Okay, this is again a same thing is explained over here. Like secondary structure में helix रहता है, which is nothing but a spiral structure. It can be either right-handed or a left-handed, but the right-handed helix, known as alpha helix, is most common one in a nature than the left-handed, which is known as the beta helix. Okay, as I mentioned, they are held together by hydrogen bonds. And this sequence also gives information about the location, about कहाँ पे प्रोटीन को bend होना है, कहाँ पे fold होना है. All this kind of information can be retrieved from a secondary structure of a protein. Okay, and one of the very important point to note over here is these structures are actually maintained by a hydrogen bond. This is typical helix which is found in most of the proteins. You can see there is a intra-chain bonding. So you can see यहाँ पे ये red color के, sorry not red, yellow color के जो structures है, these are nothing but the hydrogen bonds which are present within a molecule. Apart from that, as I mentioned, there is another type of secondary structure known as a beta pleated sheets. So these are nothing but यहाँ पे क्या होता है, 2 और 3 अमीनो एसिड्स के जो जो चेन रहते हैं, और जैसे पॉलीपेप्टाइड चेन जो रहते हैं, they are aligned बाजू में, and then they actually interact with each other by a hydrogen bonding. Okay, so such structures are called as pleated sheets. But these structures actually have two types. So depending on ये जो polypeptides है, whether they are arranged in an anti-parallel way, मतलब एक का direction ऐसा, एक का direction ऐसा, एक का again ऐसा, or it is in a parallel way, मतलब all are in a one direction, उसका stability vary होता है. So tell me, looking at the structure, tell me which beta plated sheet do you think is a more stable?
Anti-parallel.
Yes, so it is the anti-parallel one which is the more stable than the parallel one. And I think you can just understand the result looking at the diagram, because hydrogen bonding is more smooth in case of anti-parallel, but in case of parallel it is kind of a difficulty से बनाना पड़ रहा है. Okay, and the best example of a protein जहाँ पे such kind of structure is present is the silk fiber, which is produced by the silkworms. Now coming towards the next part, that is the tertiary and quaternary. As I mentioned, many large proteins actually like myoglobin वगैरह, they actually have a different structure जहाँ पे वो एक के ऊपर एक उसका secondary structure fold किया जाता है, and then they are linked together with a specialized bond, that is a disulfide bond, which is a covalent type of bond. Okay, and this gives the protein a typical tertiary structure. Okay, because of this tertiary structure, a protein will be more stable in a way, because it will have only a particular part which is exposed to the outer environment. तो पूरा का पूरा part exposed नहीं होता है, that's why it is more stable. However, अगर पूरा का पूरा part exposed हो जाएगा to the outer environment, it may get destabilized, because not all the amino acids are stable. Few of them are hydrophilic, few of them are hydrophobic, so like that. Okay, hydrophilic रहेंगे तो they can easily interact with the water, but अगर hydrophobic रहेंगे तो they will be reluctant to interact with the water, and that will make an issue. Okay, so to avoid these things, the proteins are having a specialized tertiary structure, which is a 3-dimensional structure. And as I mentioned, few proteins require multiple subunits to be a functional unit, and that's called as a quaternary structure. And the best example is a hemoglobin. You can see there are 4 chains. So it is basically known as a tetramer, or we can say there are 2 kinds of chains in case of hemoglobin: alpha chains and beta chains. So there are 2 alpha chains, 2 beta chains. So we can say dimer of alpha, dimer of beta, or we can say it is a tetrameric protein. Okay, is it clear till now? Any doubt? Any question? Any doubt? Anything? Because अगर ये समझा है तो ही I will move ahead. I understand आज थोड़ा जरा डोस हुआ रहेगा, because स्टेरॉइड्स कंप्लीट करके प्रोटीन्स का हम लोगों ने एंटायर टाइप्स ऑफ प्रोटीन स्टार्ट किया है. सो एनी क्वेश्चन? सबको सब समझा है?
No, sir.
और पढ़ाई करो. Okay, so that's good. Please read these things in a book and then you will get an idea. By the way, no one of you are asking any question like, what is myoglobin? Tell me. Just because मैंने वहाँ पे लिखा है और मैंने बोल दिया, तुम लोग सब सुन लेते हो, but you don't ask any questions. What is myoglobin? What is enzymes? Anyone? What is myoglobin? Okay. What is hemoglobin? No idea? Yes, no.
It is present in the red blood cells.
Okay, so Mayuresh ने mention किया hemoglobin is present in a red blood cell. Okay, absolutely correct answer. But क्यों होता है present?
ऑक्सीजन के लिए अपने को रिक्वायर्ड होता है.
Okay, ऑक्सीजन के लिए required होता है. तो ये ऑक्सीजन बनाता है या कैरी करता है?
कैरी करता है लंग्स से तो बॉडी के अदर टिश्यूज तक.
Okay, so I won't say lungs to the body, cardiac. Okay, that is all part of circulation. I don't want to get involved in that right now. But तुम तीनों ने मिलके like Mayuresh, Sahil and I think Anuj was there. So okay, तीनों ने तीन parts बोले. Now I will just connect it. Okay, so hemoglobin is a protein. It is present in a red blood cells or a red blood corpuscles or RBCs of a blood. Okay, it is involved in a oxygen carrying, मतलब वो oxygen transport में involved होता है and it will be one of the most important component of a blood and the red color जो होता है अपने blood का that is actually because of this hemoglobin. Why so? Can anyone tell me why the hemoglobin is red in color?
Pigment.
Pigment होता है. Okay, anything else? तुम लोगों ने कभी ब्लड टेस्ट का रिपोर्ट वगैरह देखा है क्या? कोई मतलब इट्स ऑलवेज मेंशन ना
Yes.
hemoglobin, RBC, WBC,
Yes.
platelet. So
Yes.
yeah, so यहाँ पे हमेशा एक कभी कुछ लोगों को बोलते हैं कि you are having a hemoglobin deficiency या फिर तुम लोग का hemoglobin is less than the required levels. तो तुम लोग ये खाओ, वो खाओ, स्पिनच खाओ, वो खाओ.
आयरन होते हैं उसमें.
Yes. Now you are coming to a point. So basically, see, तुम लोग को सब पता है, but you just don't know how to link it together. So the hemoglobin contains a prosthetic group that is an additional attachment to the protein known as ferrous ions or the iron elements basically, जो उसको ये critical colors देते हैं, and that's why it is one of the important components. Okay, it is involved in a transport of oxygen in a blood. So that is the function of hemoglobin, transport of oxygen in a blood. Apart from that, there is a myoglobin, hemoglobin, मतलब heme मतलब blood, globin मतलब the particular protein. Okay, so it is a protein in a blood. Now tell me, myoglobin. What do you understand by the word myoglobin? Myo, what is myo? Any idea what is myo? Myo मतलब muscles. So myoglobin is actually a oxygen carrying protein or a protein which is involved in transport of oxygen, but it is present only in a muscles. Okay.
Skeleton muscle.
Yeah, it can be skeletal, can be smooth. There are multiple types of muscles. But what I want to tell you right now is both of them are oxygen carrying or are involved in oxygen transport, but their position or location within a system is different. One is present in the blood and the another one is present in only the muscles. Okay, so that is the basic difference and the functions of a myoglobin and hemoglobin. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. So now there are properties of protein followed by their classification. So I don't want to continue it right now because it will take time. So we will stop over here. Any questions, any doubts if you are having, you can ask me right now.